7 all? I've no Werther's today, but I brought treacle toffee from work.
Have you?
Bit different from Werther's.
With a bit of luck, I'll be in the office pinching some cakes after that.
Was asked yesterday. Sorry? Yesterday he asked us if Leicester Martin had been got from back to the corner. He back used his own.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 3 of event 4 of the Supreme Pool Series. And all the way through this series, the draw has just thrown us up some incredible draws, some fantastic matchups, and this is one of the best. On the left of the screen, Marc Farnsworth. On the right, Mick Hill. Two absolute legends of the game, and maybe just a little underlying rivalry between these two. Of course, for the last couple of years there's been kind of talk of a money match between these two, which has never come to fruition, but now we get to see the two of them meet on the bays in a race to 11. In the last 16. Marc Farnsworth gets the match underway. He breaks and makes a ball. There's problems with both sets. This, a really clever shot from Marc. Keeps his options open. Was hoping to push that yellow aside a little further just to open the pockets. So he's still got some problems here because there are yellows that don't go and there are reds that don't go. Had that yellow have just moved aside another couple of inches, then this would have been a certainty to go reds. So he's potted one of each and it's still an open table. Thank you for joining us for this early morning Sunday start. Well, it's not so early now, is it? It's almost lunchtime. We've been here since 9 o'clock streaming across the other tables in the losers section. And talking about that losers section, there's been some great games already this morning. Gareth Hibbett beat John Rowe, and now he's playing Sean Story in the last 16. Dan Davey was in a real battle against Paul Riley. He's come through that, 8-7. Mick Hill beat Arvin Dad to get his place against Marc Farnsworth. Declan Brennan beat Toby Bolt. Greg Waddingham beat Dave Fernandez in about half an hour. Shane Thompson beat Sanjay Patel. Carl Morris beat Mike King. And Callum Singleton, Mark Fleming are locked together at 7 frames each. That's going on over at the back of the pool room. Jordan Shepherd is 2-0 up against Shane Thompson. So most of the game's now underway. And that gives us this last 16. Already mentioned Sean Story against Gareth Hibbett. He's 1-0 up. Ronan McCarthy will play the winner of that Mark Fleming Callum Singleton game. Tom Cousins will play Dan Davey. Mark Boyle is just getting underway against Carl Morris. Jordan Shepherd 2-0 up against Shane Thompson. Josh Kane, Craig Wadding 1 each, and Scott Gillespie will play a rerun of yesterday's match that we watched on the main arena, and he's playing Declan Brennan. So that's us up to date with all of the other games, and Marc Farnsworth completes that first frame, and he is 1-0. So, Marc Farnsworth, nicknamed Ginge, 39 years of age. He uses a cue that he picked up from a rack, and he's had it for about 25 years. And it's got a blue diamond 8mm tip on it. He's multiple IPA Tour, multiple IPA Pro Event winner, and multiple IPA World Series winner, current #1 ranked player on the IPA Tour. And the only thing missing from that list really is a World Championship title. And I think if you went to the bookie and asked for odds on him picking up a World Championship at some point, you'd get very short odds.
Time money. Seconds. Extension called. Farnsworth to break, leading 2 frames to 0. Time running. Foul, 1 free shot, 1 visit. Time running. Seconds.
So again, good morning everyone that's recently joining us. Apologies for the short interlude. Typically I order breakfast about 10 o'clock this morning, and it came out 3 minutes after we started streaming. That is what you call sod's law. But anyway, we're back in the room. And we are focused on Marc Farnsworth versus Mick Hill. His unwanted kiss just made things slightly more tricky. Now he's going to have to cannon a ball. Should be absolutely fine. But that's the problem when you just slightly run out of position. And now, suddenly, a really simple clearance has become particularly difficult. Now I wonder if Mick can cut this red to left corner and hold on the black for the red in the middle. Pretty sure that's what he's looking at. Problem is with that shot you need full ball contact on the black and anything else. And the white's travelling. So thanks for joining us on Sunday morning for day 4. Sorry, day 3 of event 4 of the Supreme Series. And that's what Mick's tried to do. He's tried to hold on the black, but he's missed the black, and now he's in a lot of trouble. Looking at some of the other scores around the room, Gareth Hibbett's beating Sean Story 3-1. Ronan McCarthy still waiting for the winner of Callum Singleton, Mark Fleming. How that match is still going on, I just do not know. They're locked together at 7 each, and they have been for about half an hour. Tom Cousins and Dan Davey about to get underway. Mark Boyle is playing Carl Morris. Jordan Shepherd is 4-0 up against Shane Thompson. Josh Kane 3-1 against Craig Waddingham. Declan Brennan has taken the early honours against Scott Gillespie, and he leads 1-0. If you want to do as I do and keep up with all the other scores in the room, then you need to go to qscore.com, and at the top of the page you'll see a live tab. You can click that and it will guide you towards the K8.com Classic. There's only one thing that we ask of you guys in return for the stream. All we do is ask you to share it. So if you're watching on Facebook, please share it to your timeline. If you're watching on YouTube, you can click share and see the options of what you want to share it to. Please do also share it to Facebook, any other kind of social media. We'd love to get everyone watching all of the matches today. Jordan Shepherd now 5-0 against Shane Thompson. And he's woke up in the right mood this morning. I think he's probably still a bit tired and wants to go back to bed for an hour. So this is the last 16. The draw's been done. Double elimination has ended. And all of the matches are reset to races to 11. And it'll be races to the 11 all the way through to the final, which will be this evening sometime around about 8 p.m. if everything goes to plan. This is another good clearance from Marc Farnsworth. He looks ominously good. And as has been the case in quite a lot of matches, Mick Hill is not the fastest starter. He's not the fastest out of the blocks. He's done this in a number of games. But in almost every game where he's gone 2 or 3 behind, then he just seems to find that extra gear. Last night he was 8-3 down against Josh Kane and came back and looked like he was going to win. But Josh managed to just stumble across the line. But it's the middle part of the game where he just seems to be able to press the accelerator pedal. Doesn't matter if he's 3 or 4 behind. He can easily reel off 7 or 8. Across there on table 11 in the background, you can see table 11 emblazoned on the front of the table. That in the white shirt at the table is young Josh Kane. And Josh is playing Craig Waddingham. Josh currently 3 frames to 1 up. Jordan Shepherd now 6-0 against Shane Thompson. It's unbelievable. That game's been going for about half an hour.
Mick comes to break, trailing, get 3 frames to 0. Time running.
I must admit, I've known Jordan for a few years and I've never seen him quite so focused and up for it. He really is just a ball of energy around the tables, and he's buzzing at this event. And I knew he would be. There's 2 reasons for this. Reason number 1 is I got offered half of them in the Calcutta, and I didn't buy it. And reason number 2 is that I was late turning up on Friday morning, and I didn't manage to get a bet on with the bookie. So for those 2 reasons alone, he's almost nailed on to win the event.
10 seconds. Extension cold.
Just like my breakfast turning up, just as the match starts, it's called Sod's Law. So, another mistake, and now Marc Farnsworth with a golden opportunity to take a early 4-0 lead against Mick Hill. I've said it so many times before, but I got no problem saying it again. Marc Farnsworth is just a technician when it comes to these clearances. He is probably the most dangerous player in the world when it comes to dot-to-dot finishes. He is just clinical. I've used the word so many times before, but it's the only way to describe him. He is absolutely clinical. He rarely has an unforced error in him. His cue ball control is just second to none. And he's so good at just playing to areas to give himself options. So if something does go a little bit awry, then he's always got another option. Always giving himself chances. His potting is incredible, but his cue ball control is outstanding. Just going back to that. Wow. That is definitely a commentator's curse. I was just saying, bigging him up and mentioning how few times he'll ever throw in an unforced error. But that was certainly one. He's human after all. Going back to the Shane Thompson, if you take away his game this morning on the losers' side to get back in against Sanjay Patel, then he's basically on this winner's side. He's lost about 9 frames in a row. His confidence can't be great because he was 9-3 up. He was 9-3 up against Marc Farnsworth, and he lost 11-9. So he's lost 8 frames, and he's now 6-0 down. So basically 14 frames in a row on the winner's side. Obviously he's had his losers qualification match in between. But Scott Gillespie 2-1 head against Declan Brennan now. Josh Kane 4-1 against Greg Waddingham. You can see that game over on table 11. So before we were rudely interrupted by my breakfast, and I was talking about Marc Farnsworth profile, and yeah, I mentioned he's 39 years old. Ginge started playing when he was 7 years old because his parents had a pub. Greatest inspiration is a gentleman called Davy Pert from Anfield. We spent a lot of time with Mark when he first started playing, teaching him the basics. And as he got older, he travelled with his late granddad, who took him everywhere and gave him a lot of support. Most respected player is Gareth Potts for his dedication to both English and Chinese 8-ball. And when asked about a funny story, he said probably going sailing at 5 a.m. in Great Yarmouth a few years ago with Lee Clough and Gareth Potts. But he said they'll have to fill in the blanks. So it sounds like, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Mark, but he likes the odd grey goose. Best opponent he's ever played against. He said the best performance anyone's ever produced against him was, without doubt, Ronan McCarthy in a money match in Northern Ireland about 10 years ago. And asked about any other talents, he said modestly that he's a great golfer. That's Marc Farnsworth. So he pretty much gifted a frame there to Mick, and the kind of player that will quickly erase that from his mind. Mick Hill is Mark's opponent, and I'm sure you'll all be very familiar. He's 37 years old, which surprises me. Not that he looks older, but it just seems like he's been around for so many years. Just seems to have been a fixture at the top of the game for years and years. I wouldn't have been surprised if someone told me he was 47. As I say, that's not because he looks the age, it's just because he seems to have been around. He uses a BCE Craftsman cue with an Elkmaster tip, and he's amongst many, many achievements. Of course, he is 5 times world champion. Started playing pool aged 5 when his dad bought him a 3-foot table, and his greatest inspiration was his first ever sponsor, Paul Heath, and his dad. Best opponent he's ever played against, Darren Appleton, and was quite a keen chess player when he was younger. So that sets the scene. Sets the scene for the day, really. I can now tell you that Jordan Shepherd is 8-0 up on Shane Thompson. Oh, where's the white? Where's the white? Mark, you see, just out of shot there, or just to the left of the shot, holding his hand up to Mick to apologise. It's nothing like what he played. That could have gone really wrong. And as it is, he's left it just about perfect. So a couple of very unusual, unforced errors from Marc, but he comes through this one unscathed, and he now leads 4 frames to 1. Haven't seen the bookie yet this morning, so not sure what match odds he put up for this game. I would imagine that Mick would have just been a favourite, but there can't have been much in it. Maybe kind of like Mick 4-6, perhaps. The bookie's gone missing this morning. Not quite sure what's going on. He's, I think he had a bit of a late night. They were playing cards until late, and then who knows? Maybe they found their way to the casino and
Mick held to break, trailing 4 frames to 1. Time running. Time running.
another dry break from Mick. And this is reminiscent of the semi-final that we watched in event 2 of Mick Hill versus Phil Harrison, where Mick just couldn't buy a break, and Phil was getting balls and good finishes virtually every time. Jordan Shepherd 9-0 against Shane Thompson. It's just a ridiculous scoreline. Shane is a high quality player. Again, realise that people are joining us. Very good morning to you all. Joining us at Players Lounge in Newcastle under Lyme. A club that's jointly owned by Lee Kendall and Gareth Potts. And it's the home of the Supreme Pool Series. This is event 4, and all we ask from you is for you to please share the stream. Give it a like and give it a share. Farnsworth just looking on top form this morning, mopping up everything. Just one big error from him going in off, and that's given Mick the 1 frame that he's won. And Mick looking stoic, The scoreboard there is not updated, so we'll just get that one updated for you. And Shane Thompson's finally won a frame, and it's now 9-1. Not much Mick can do about this. He's not really done anything wrong, has he? Just not been able to buy a break.
Marc Farnsworth to break, leading 5 frames to 1. Time running.
Ginge will break in frame 7. And finally, dry. And a chance for Mick. Who slowly steps up from his chair, almost like a bear coming out of hibernation.
Time running.
Now, can he carve his way back into this match? You kind of think against mere mortals, Marc Farnsworth having a 5-1 lead, there's very little way back into the match. But we're not talking mere mortals, we're talking Mick Hill, one of the greatest to ever pick up a cue. And if he can work his way back into this game, if anybody can, it's going to be Mick. Just plays a little containing shot. And Marc, already a massive underdog in this frame.
Seconds. Extension call.
Not really too many options available to him. And Mick with time on his side. As long as that yellow's over the top right pocket, I think he's going to want to do something with these 2 yellows on the side rail. What a shot. How unlucky is that? What a shot. Just absolutely rifled it into the pocket. Stunning the ball across to the side rail to get the yellow out. Giving himself a great opportunity in the frame. And that yellow just rolls across onto the opposite side rail in probably one of the worst places it could have landed. And now he needs to find another ball to get that red out, to get that yellow out. And I don't think he's got an angle from the one over the top right pocket. I wonder if he could play that with left hand side and just miss the red. I don't think that he can. Unbelievably, Jordan Shepherd has beaten Shane Thompson 11 frames to 1 in exactly an hour. 12 frames in an hour. And Jordan Shepherd goes through to the last 8. What an incredible scoreline. Just looking at the other scores, Gareth Hibbert 4-2 up against Sean Story. Callum Singleton is 3-0 against Ronan McCarthy. Young Callum Singleton having another great event. He's had a couple like this, and he is a real talent of the future. I mean, he's a real talent now, but he's going to be quickly cementing himself as one of the best players on the scene. Dan Davey 1-0 versus Tom Cousins, so he's taken the early honours. Carl Morris is 3-1 against Mark Boyle. That scoreline will surprise some people, but watching Carl play yesterday, he was just brilliant. Josh Kane 5-3 against Craig Waddingham, and Scott Gillespie 4-2 against Declan Brennan. Tom Cousins has levelled things up against Dan Davey, now 1 each. So it's a double for Mark to open his account, and now he will be looking at how he can find a skill shot. He needs to remove the yellow over the top right corner pocket. Don't think he can get to it. Maybe able to screw across off of this ball. No, he tried to force it, but the angle wasn't really there. He can play the skill shot, ball onto ball, but the yellow's to the side of the pocket, which does make it a lot more difficult. I don't really see many other attacking options. I think he's forced into playing that. Otherwise it's going to be some kind of double. It's just going to be even more difficult, so I think, as I say, I think he's forced into playing the skill shot. And there you see that yellow set to the left knuckle. The red has to go middle bag. Oh, brilliant. Just made it look so easy. Great shot. Quite rightly deciding to come down table. If he'd have tried to hold on the one up the rail, he'd have had no positional options from that ball to get back down table. So absolutely doing the right thing, and he's going to try and leave that ball till last. It just depends. He needs an angle on this one to the middle. Yeah, he didn't have an angle, but it just glanced the red, and he judged that brilliantly. So good. Going to run off one cushion, back across to the right hand side of the table. Looks to be perfect. Won't be trying to do anything clever with the cue ball. Literally just stun it off the rail, 6 inches or so, and leave the long black. So this black for a 6-1 lead. I don't think anybody would have been calling 6-1 to Marc Farnsworth before the off. Great shot. Josh Kane now 6-3 against Craig Waddingham. This is just about perfect pull from Marc Farnsworth so far. As I say, one positional error, one unforced error when he went in off into the middle bag, which is the only frame he's lost. Admittedly, he's getting the chances because Mick's just not potting off his break. But equally, a couple of unexpected unforced errors from Mick. There you see the scores. Only 7 matches on the screen because Jordan Shepherd's already through. 11-1. And commiserations to Shane Thompson. I think I'm right in saying that that's a couple of times now that Shane's got through to the got all the way through double elimination to the last 16, or even maybe the last 8 when it was double elimination down to the last 8, and he's lost his first match. I'm sure Shane will be reflective. I'm guessing he's not had too much in the way of chances, and he's come across Jordan Shepherd on ridiculous form. You see Mick just making eye contact with Rich Wharton as he walks back to his chair. Not much he can do. Have to feel for him. So the red's gone into a bit of an awkward place because now blocking the path, or the red, should I say, the one in the bulk area to the right, has come around and landed in an awkward spot because it's covered the path to 2 yellows, I think, to that pocket. This is clever. That's a brilliant shot. Side rail, take that red out, and now all 4 of these balls go to left corner. Really, really clever and so well executed. And this is what I mean about when I used that word earlier, that clinical. He's just plays those kind of shots so well, and that one shot's just opened up the frame. Again, fantastic cue ball control. Asking the referee just to clean the cue ball. And there, referee Rick. That's Rick Lloyd. Familiar guy on the scene. Was over at Real just last weekend, refereeing the EBPF. That one short of pace by 3 or 4 inches. Now he's going to have to come up with a plan B, because he would have liked to have potted this and held for the other yellow, leave the one to the left rail last to get on the black, but I think he's got too much angle now. Don't think he can hold for it, and I'm pretty sure he can't hold for the one on side rail either. May be able to come to bottom of the table and leave that yellow into the middle, but now suddenly this is a lot more difficult than it needed to be. Got too much angle to hold on the red. He may be able to dig down and hold on it, but I think there's too much angle. Yeah, indeed. So he's come down, trying to get below, as I mentioned, below that yellow for the middle. He's cannoned it, but again, been fortunate. He's left it pretty much perfect for a plant in the middle. You can just chop the white off the rail, leave a long yellow. Just screwing the white out. Wow. And a miss. So just that one positional error has led to a chance for Mick. And a chance that you feel Mick will almost certainly be mopping up. Excuse my voice, is a bit croaky this morning. Done too much talking over the weekend and not enough sleep, which is normally what happens at these events. Nice clearance from Mick. And that's all he can do. Just take every opportunity, claw his way back into the game. So again, 2 unforced errors from Marc Farnsworth has led to 2 frames for Mick Hill. Could so easily be 8-0. Cats hit at 5-3 against Sean Story. Rona McCarthy's won the next 2 frames and now just trails by 1 against Callum Singleton. Carl Morris has won another frame against Mark Boyle. Josh Kane just edging that match now against Craig Waddingham. He was streaking away with it. I think it was 5-2 up. And I can tell you that it's just clicked over, you just see there Craig Waddingham and Josh Kane now 6 each. Oh, this looks dry. And it is, so. Another chance for Mick to mark up another one. And get that deficit down to 3 frames. Plant to top left to start the ball rolling. Again, another little grimace from Mick. He's got the gap between the 2 yellows. But I just get the feeling he was trying to get across a bit further and land on the one to top left. Just from his body language, facial expressions. He never hides his emotions, you can always tell from his face. This now becoming more difficult. Having a cue to the side of the ball, which means he's going to impart side on this. And I don't think if he does that, he can avoid cannoning the yellow. If he cannons a yellow, then he's not leaving himself much. So he takes some medicine and just tops it through to the gap and leaves this red long. Again, this one needs really good cueing. He's only just off straight, so he's going to have to make an angle. You can see him loading up with right side. I think that's what he's played, but he's back in pretty good shape. Maybe doing him a disservice there. It's just the way he went across the table to look at where the balls went. No. Simple finish. Great cue ball. And back within 3 frames. 6-3. Mark Ball's won a frame, and that's now 4-3 to Carl Morris. Tom Cousins, Dan Davey, 2 each. Ronan McCarthy was 3-0 down, it's now 3 each. Sean Story putting up a really great performance this week. We saw him in the very first match of the weekend on Friday morning, playing Drew Hughes. And he's still there, still in the last 16 and still battling, but he's got a tough opponent in Gareth Ibbott. Gareth got kicked into the loser's side very early doors.
Mid-hill to break, trailing 6 frames to 3. Time running.
And obviously the one that's the match that's quite noticeable in that draw is Declan Brennan versus Scott Gillespie. Scott just edging that one 5 frames to 4. And the reason I say is because they played last night, late last night. The match started at around about 10:30, and we finished about 1 a.m. And Scott Gillespie knocked Declan across into the loser's side, and incredibly they've drawn each other again in the last 16, so they're playing each other twice within, well, basically within 12 hours. Mick finally finds a ball off the break, and as I mentioned right at the top of the show, he seems to have a knack of finding this next gear. You can never write him off. As I say, he was 8-3 down against Josh Kane last night and came right back. In fact, I think he brought it level at 9 each at one point. What a shot that was. Nailed it. Came around 3 cushions and through the gap to leave this yellow. Incredible vision. And this is what makes him so good, so dangerous. And having been 6 frames to 1 behind, seems like almost the blink of an eye. And it's 6-4, and he's back within 2, and the pressure is now firmly on this Marc Farnsworth break. If he breaks dry and Mick can find a clearance, he's basically back on serve. Craig Waddingham, who was quite some way behind in that game against Josh Kane, is now ahead 7-6. And there's a bit of a theme here because Craig Waddingham was playing Greg Batten last night in a race to 8. He was 4-1 behind, and then just found another gear and ended up beating Greg. He's doing the same again here. Game of two halves. Scott Gillespie's won another frame against Declan Brennan. It's now 6-4. Callum Singleton has won the next frame against Ronan McCarthy, and that's now 4-3. If you want to watch any of the other games, you can watch Gareth Hibbert against Sean Story on table 4, Callum Singleton versus Ronan McCarthy on table 3, or across on table 11, that Craig Waddingham Josh Kane game. How many more balls want to go in? And all you ever hear is how the break is the weakest part of Marc Farnsworth's game. What a joke that is. Obviously, the shark rack plays a big part in this this break. It holds all of the balls together, keeps them all touching, and it allows the transference of power from the front of the pack all the way through to those back balls, and the energy just smashes through, and you see these incredible breaks. Left himself horribly hampered here. Can do no more than just drop it in and leave a long black to top corner.
Fred.
7-4. Marc Farnsworth stops the rot. Just going to quickly step away for a bathroom break. We'll join you again in the next frame.
Mick Hill to break, trailing 7 frames to 4. Time running.
So I get back just in time to see the black go down, and that was a breaking dish from Mick. We just saw Shane Thompson, he just came in to say goodbye as he's on his way back down to Bristol, and literally just held his hands up and said, nothing I can do, absolutely nothing I can do. Sheppy missed one ball, and that was the frame that Shane won. He's barely missed a ball this weekend, and it'd be interesting to find somebody who can knock him out of this tournament.
You say, get us a new shot, right? Marc Farnsworth to break, leading 7 frames to 5. Time running.
So we see Mark placing the ball, settles down onto the cue, and winds up for this break. Yeah, absolutely flushed the front ball. Brought the white ball, the cue ball, straight back up the centre of the table. And that really was a nice break. Unfortunately for him, he's found the cue ball in a cluster. So all the yellows now open. Lost the cue ball here. And now he's just got this thin cut to top left. Doesn't need to worry too much about the cue ball because he's got this yellow to bottom left, which he should have. Unless he's very unlucky, he should have a sight through to it. Causes extension. Goes back and rechecks the angle. The one good thing, he can cue to the back of the cue ball, so not hampered. Wow, just drops. He's still in trouble. The yellow to left corner that I mentioned is covered, so it's got the one down the rail or this thin cut to right corner. Pretty sure he'd be taking the thin cut. No. hits it too thick, pushes it to near knuckle. You just see glimmers of hope for Mick Hill suddenly become big opportunities. They're no longer glimmers. Needs his frame to pull back within one, and he'll have the break in the next, so he'll be on serve. Declan Brennan now all square. Scott Gillespie, 6 frames each. And he'll want revenge from last night's defeat. And if he wins that game, he won't care in the slightest that he lost last night. This is the only game that matters at the moment. Josh Kane, 7-all against Craig Waddingham. Carl Morris, 6-3 up against Mark Boyle. Left a nice angle here. No options for black to corner back, so just be stunning down below it for middle. And couldn't have placed it much better by hand, to be honest. Simple black. And he does indeed pull back within one frame with the break in the next, having been 6-1 down. The extra gear I mentioned earlier is very much in it and cruising.
Mick Hill to break, trailing 7 frames to 6. Time running.
Mick breaks frame number 14. Pots, 1, 2, 3 balls. How's the table looking? I think he's pretty good. Yeah, indeed. All the yellows go. They all have pockets. And he's got a simple opener, so yellows it will be. The only real problem is he's got to play the yellow to top corner, and then he's got the other one hanging over the bag, and he has to get from there all the way down to the bottom of the table to land on one of these three. Mick used it as extension early on. Still, when he works out this pattern, it's really just he may decide to take the one over the top corner first. If he goes top corner and leaves himself somewhere around about the bulk line, he's going to have an easier path to come back down table. And that's what he's going to do. Doesn't want to finish straight. I think he's just got enough angle. You can run down across the face of the red. The problem is, coming down this left-hand side of the table, the yellows are kind of covering each other. If he comes across to the right-hand side of the table, then there's a lot more space. He's had to play for the gap. And he's found it. That was a really good shot. Had to judge that really well. Now this should be fairly straightforward. Again, just a touch more angle than ideal, but he can stand up and hold on the red. And now, white off the bottom rail. Open up the angle for a straight black to middle. And from 6-1 down, Mick Hill is 7-all with all the momentum in his favour. You have to say that he's gone favourite for this game now. But he is still playing against that man, one of the best in the game. For me, this game still can go either way. Wouldn't be surprised to see either player win at 11-7 from here. Equally wouldn't be surprised to see it go hill-hill. Scott Gillespie 7-6 up against Declan Brennan now. Josh Kane has just won that frame. You could just see him in the background racking the balls. He's 8-7 up and he's at the table on the break. And he's smashed them open. On table 11. Carl Morris playing Mark Boyle. And he's 6-3 up. Dan Davey is not giving Tom Cousins an easy time of it, and they're 4 frames each. Equally, Callum Singleton, 4 frames each, with Rona McCarthy. And Sean Story and Gareth Hibbett tied together at 6 each. As you would expect in the last 16 tight games. And while everyone's still battling away in the arena, Jordan Shepherd is probably just relaxing back in his hotel room, as he's already through and he beat Shane Thompson 11 frames to 1. Farnsworth knows the importance of this frame. He uses his extension as he works out his pattern. Pretty sure he's going to be going yellows. Yellow the top corner. I mean, that's already a really loose shot. He's played to leave the yellow to middle, and I tell you now, I don't think that goes. No, he looks away in disgust. That's really loose. And suddenly, the tide is turning. Unforced errors creeping into Marc Farnsworth's game, when early doors he just wasn't making any mistakes. He was 6-1 up. He'd made one error with the in-off into the middle, which was the one frame that Mick won, so he could have been 7-0. And then an error at 6-1 to let Mick in again. And that was 6-2. And how much is he going to rue those early mistakes? Mick also knows how important that was. Puts his cue behind his head. Stamps his foot on the floor. He knows that was key. He knows he has to punish. We heard him in the interview the other day saying that the top players just know when they have to push the button. And that was the time to push the button. And it's a big game changer, that one, because Marc would have been sat in his chair playing over that mistake in his mind, the layers of negativity forming, and then suddenly he's straight back at the table and he can forget all about that, make amends. This frame is a huge swing. Mick Hill had the chance to go 8-7 with the break. But it's Marc Farnsworth who's going to go 8-7. Our sponsor for this event is K8.com, and I believe that they're running a promotion at the moment. I will have to get a leaflet and confirm, but I'm pretty sure if you deposit and bet £10, then you can have a free bet of £25. So that's a really good deal. They're not laying odds for this event. Prices for this event are from the winning post. Our resident bookie, Jed Ronan. You can find his odds on the Players Pool event page, or equally you can contact Jed directly and he'll let you know what prices he's offering. He's not doing match betting online, only doing outrights, but there is some match betting available. I noticed that there's a few people on Facebook have been offering odds, so keep an eye out. Probably be some odds up on the bouncer page. Huge break. Mick just holds his face, shakes his head, returns to a chair. First shot, oh my goodness. That is so unlucky. Another massive twist. Played a developing shot to come into the back of the red and break everything out in the open. And the white has just come off the back of the three yellows, literally canned each one of them, and then gone down the cushion and gone in off. Some of these score lines just don't seem to be moving. Sean Story and Gareth Hibbert have been at 7-all for quite some time. Carl Morris and Mark Ball were at 6-3 for a long time, but Mark Ball's won that frame and is now 6-4. Craig Waddingham is 9-8 up against Josh Kane. Scott Gillespie 8-6 against Declan Brennan. That's 2 in a row he's won. Callum Singleton 5-4 against Ronan McCarthy. And everything just starting to heat up as we approach the quarterfinals. You just feel the tension starting to rise. That is a quite unbelievable miss. Just don't ever expect to see Mick Hill miss pots like that. I know it's a cliche, but it really is nice to know that he's human.
Extension called.
So Mick now in a spot of bother on reds. He can open his account with this red to top corner. That's another miss. Three missed pots from Mick Hill in one frame. Unheard of.
Seconds. 5.
Played that at a weight that suggested he didn't want to pot the yellow, just wanted to leave it over. And now he's opened up that pocket, so I think he's probably just going to close the door on it. I don't think he's going to be attacking from here. I think he's probably just going to nudge that yellow a little closer to the pocket to make sure he's got that cover in. Probably just push it to side rail and then to bottom knuckle to make sure. Yeah, like so. It's okay. Definitely didn't want that to drop. So this is going to turn into a tactical affair. Mick buys himself some time, but Marc is just going to go back rail and knock this yellow into open play. Kind of ties up another one of his yellows, but that's okay. It's better there than it was. Yellow's very much in charge in this frame. Is he going to try and attack from here? Bring the white ball down inside the pack of balls and knock the yellow in. That was just such a difficult shot. Real fine margin. He literally had to almost brush past the red, go cushion first and then. But it needed to be absolutely perfect. Now, just kind of running out of options a little bit. Is he looking at I'm not sure what he's looking at. I think he's just looking at a little safety shot. Bring the white bottom rail, side rail Just a containing shot. Or is he looking? No, he's looking to attack. He's going to pop the red along the bottom cushion. Open everything up. What a great effort. Still in trouble. That was a great pot. Real great attempt at opening the pack. Don't think that yellow passes to middle, the one just at the top of the three. If it does, it should be fairly simple. You can pop that to middle and then stun down into the red to release the yellow. It's all about whether it goes inside that red. Difficult to see from this angle. Well, he's having a close look. He's definitely going to be attacking from here, even if he's got to take the one over the corner and screw back into them. Oh, that's what he's going to do.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Wow. I mean, he really, genuinely didn't know what to do. He was down on the shot, back up on the shot, and the referee was calling 5 seconds. He was literally just being able to get down on the shot, smash everything open, and giving himself half a chance. Could have come out better, but he's got this plant to middle. It's tricky. It looks easier on screen than it is. He's made it. That's really, really good shot. That was amazing. I didn't really know what to expect. I saw Marc, like literally the ref scored 5 seconds and Marc's gone down on the shot, got back up off of it, and gone down on it again. This really was a big frame, and Mick can't say he didn't have a chance. He's missed 3 balls in open play, and it's Marc Farnsworth who goes 2 ahead, and he now leads 9 frames to 7. This game just swinging from one way to another. Realise a lot of people are probably joining us for the first time over this weekend. Maybe you've been busy. You're joining us on Sunday to watch Mick Hill versus Marc Farnsworth. You're watching event 4 of the Supreme Series. It's been played to black ball rules. This is the last 16. Already the graveyard is littered with bodies of people who've been knocked out. Some of the big names, many of the big names already gone. Craig Marsh, Phil Harrison, the winner of the last 2 events, is gone. Ben Davis has left the building. All the guys from the West Country are on the way back down. Shane Thompson lost. And you see before you this main arena table, the Supreme winner with the brand new grey Strachan superfine cloth, which has been developed specifically for this series. The developed by players, for the players. You can see Mick chuckling in the background. Mark put his hand up by way of apology. That white ball, he screwed it straight. It was going straight in off to the top corner. And somehow one of the Reds has come around and kicked it back out. Yeah, this grey cloth has been in development for the best part of a year now. It was due to be released for the first event, but not being able to get it right. And finally they came up with the product that they wanted, and it's this grey cloth that you see, really fast and extremely reactive. Good feedback from everybody so far. They're enjoying playing on it, and I think it's quite easy on the eye. It's a lovely contrast between the grey and the bright colours of the balls. Marc Farnsworth with a chance now to go 10-7. We're going to be with you all the way through to the conclusion of the action now. From here till probably around about 10 PM tonight. Again, if you would do us the favour of liking and sharing this stream, it would increase our profile, increase the profile of the series. We only really ask that you join us on the Beard Productions page, give our page a like, and also the Players Pool Events, who are the team behind the Supreme Pool series. All the links to the games, the links to the bookmaker, the bookmaker's prices, everything you'll find there. So it's Players Pool Events. So some of these games in the last 16 are starting to warm up, drawing to a conclusion. Marc Farnsworth is now on the hill versus Mick Hill. This scoreline could have so easily been reversed. I did say at 7 each I wouldn't be at all surprised to see it go hill-hill. Equally, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of the players win 11-7. So, Sean Story versus Gareth Hibbert, locked up at 8 each. Ronan McCarthy, Callum Singleton, they're grinding it out. They're 5 apiece. Tom Cousins is now 7-5 up on Dan Davey and just started to inch his way into a lead. Carl Morris 7-5 against Mark Boyle. Jordan Shepherd finished his game well over an hour ago. It took him an hour to beat Shane Thompson 11-1. Craig Waddingham is on the hill. He was 10-8, and as I was reading out the score, Josh Kane wins a frame, and now that's 10-9. And Scott Gillespie is 9-7 up against Declan Brennan, and looking like he's going to beat the Irishman twice in no more than about 12 or 14 hours. They finished their previous match almost to the minute 12 hours ago, at about 1:15 this morning. Balls flying in everywhere again. Another one finds its way to the pocket. But neither set without their problems. Red ball has one on the side rail, another one tied up next to the yellow on the bulk line, another one that doesn't have a pocket to the left of the black. Yellows, well, you can see one ball tied up, which he's now released. Another one to the left side rail, which I wonder if it goes in off the back of the red. I don't think it does. I don't think there's enough room there.
Seconds. Extension called.
I think he's come a good foot or so higher than he wanted to. He's left the yellow just to the left of the black, and he's trying to leave an angle to come in behind the other yellow and develop it much higher than he wanted to be, but still got a decent chance to develop, and he does. That's a really good shot, and that opens up the frame. And it's Mick Hill with an upward battle. He needs to beat Marc Farnsworth 4-0. Another super shot from Mick, just using the cue ball to do the work for him. Instinctively knowing his way around the table. Years and years of experience. Hundreds and hundreds of hours. Tens of thousands of frames. And he's going to have to call on all that experience now. As he claws that lead back. Now just 2 frames. But he's going to be relying on mistakes from Marc. Marc's break in the next frame, and it will also be Marc's break in the decider if it goes that way. Tom Cousins wins a frame, now 8-5. Sean Story is now 9-8 up against Gareth Hibbett, and I believe that's the first time he's been ahead in that match. Mark Boyle within 1 frame now of Carl Morris. Have a quick look across at the Ryder Cup. See if there's any blue on the scoreboard. Rory McIlroy game, all square. Paul Casey 1 up, Justin Rose 3 down. John Ram 2 up, Tommy Fleetwood 3 down. Poulter 1 up, Olsen 2 up, Garcia 1 up, Molinari 2 up. Needing 4.5 points, and they're looking pretty good at the moment. We'll keep a keen interest in that as the day goes on, but we'll keep a keener interest in Marc Farnsworth versus Mick Hill. Just stands up and sells himself. He knows this is a big break. Needs a ball. And you hear that gasp of frustration as he frustratingly goes dry. Just needed a ball. He'll take little comfort, but there is small comfort in the fact that there's a couple of balls tied up on the left rail, but at the moment this is only saving grace. This is an open table, and Mick takes yellows and immediately releases that tough ball. This one is going to the wire, folks. Nice angle on the last yellow. Run the white down the right hand side of the black. Perfect pace. Wonderful cue ball control. And Mick Hill, who's going to take full advantage of that dry break. And now he's just one frame behind, and it's 10-9, and he has the break. Well, well, well. Tom Cousins now 9-5 against Dan Davey. You'll have to excuse my voice, it's just seems to be cracking up a bit today. Craig Waddingham on the hill, 10-9 against Josh Kane. And as I say it, Josh Kane wins the frame, and it's 10-10. And if you want to watch the deciding frame, they are playing over on table 11. Drama all around the club. Gareth Hibbert now levels things up, and it's 9 frames all against Sean Story. Just going to quickly pull up that table 11 game between Josh Kane and Craig Waddingham, and somebody is at the table breaking. That was Josh Kane, and Josh Kane has broken and gone in off. So Craig Waddingham has just got a massive favourite to win that decider. Now then, Mick Hill has broken and potted balls, and he's just gone a massive favourite to go 10 frames each. So 10 each in the Josh Kane Craig Waddingham game. Looks for the world that it's going to go 10 each in the Marc Farnsworth Mick Hill game. And I can see Josh King stood next to the table just shaking his head, looking to the skies, thinking, how have I done that? Deciding frame in the last 16 I've gone in off. Sometimes this is such a cruel game. Sometimes it's so rewarding, but sometimes it's like a scorned mistress. Just come a touch high, so I'm going to screw off the bottom rail, but black passes to left middle. Simple black. I think I called a decider in this, I don't know, about an hour ago. 10 frames each. Drama in the Supreme Pool Series. Does it really get any better? Sunday afternoon. Hopefully you got your Sunday roast in the oven. Your roast beef's cooking. And you're watching this, the last frame in the last 16 between Marc Farnsworth and Mick Hill. And Marc Farnsworth just looking for two things: keep the white on the table and make a ball. I've been in this situation many, many times before, but he'll still be feeling the butterflies. Needs to flush that front ball. If ever he needed to time one, it's now. Biggest shot of his event so far coming up. No way. He can't believe it. Slams his chalk down on the table. He cannot believe it. 6 frames to 1 ahead. And now on the verge. On the brink.
Extension called.
Mick Hill in control. just a delightful kiss. Just promotes that yellow while holding the white in perfect position. And this clearance, under normal circumstances, absolute gimme. But who knows? Even that, Mick Hill holds his hand up in apology to Marc Farnsworth as he cannons that red, unwanted cannon, but still leaves him in absolutely perfect position. Not what he was playing, but he won't care. I can tell you across in that Josh Kane, Craig Waddingham game, Craig Waddingham is on the black. He has a simple black down the rail, and he will progress.
10 seconds.
And he does. Nails the black. It's him that goes through to the last 8. So, Tom Cousins has beaten Dan Davey 11-5, and he's through. Jordan Shepherd awaits the winner of Carl Morris and Mark Boyle. Craig Waddingham will play the winner of Scott Gillespie and Declan Brennan. Carl Morris, incidentally, now 9-6 up against Mark Boyle. But it's Mick Hill in a Hill game. 10 frames each. With this simple, the last 2 balls. For Marc Farnsworth, it will just be a case of missed opportunities. He stands up, ready to shake the hand of Mr. Michael E. Hill, who takes the win. And a big sigh of relief for him. You can see he's just shaking his head, and wow, what a game. What a super game. Just a question of missed chances for Mark, and it was a game of the break as well. Early doors, Mick Hill couldn't buy a ball off the break, and late on, it was pretty much the same thing for Mark. Couldn't buy a break. What a game. We're going to be in the interview room in just a few minutes with the winner, Mick Hill, for a few words with him. We shall see you there very shortly. We're not sure what games are coming up. All of the 4 quarter-final matches will be streamed. I can't tell you which one will be in the main arena. I have my ideas of what will be on here, but we just wait for the organisers to tell us. And for a few minutes, we'll bid farewell. But as I say, be across in that interview room very shortly. Speak to you soon.
with our two winners. Craig Waddingham was on one of the side stream tables, an 11-10 win, and Mick Hill has just been in the main arena with an 11-10 win there. And first of all, go to Craig on the side table. Your match looked a great match from what we could see.
Yeah, it was a good game really. Missed a few early doors and Josh played well. He was a bit unlucky to going off in the decider, but that's Paul in it. You need to take the chance when you get it.
Yeah, I think you just put the black over the pocket and say off you go, and he's pulled out a big double on you.
Well, yeah, he's knocked a long double in, and I'm ready chalking my cue to clear up. But he's knocked it in, and then fair play to him. He's a nice lad as well.
Yeah,
so.
But it's a good win. He beat Mick in the winner's side, so it just goes to show whichever way you come through, as long as you get through, it doesn't matter.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So Mick, great match. You must have thought how you started off the match you weren't going to get through that game.
Yeah, in all honesty, it weren't actually like a great match as far as what we can both play, really. It was a bit kind of one of them. And I tell you how it kind of felt. It kind of felt like we both kind of felt like, you know, you play that match sometimes and you think it's kind of real, this. You know, these finishes are a little bit harder because I'm playing Mark, because obviously he's such a good player. And maybe he played the odd one that he wouldn't normally play because he's thinking, you know what I mean, a bit kind of like that. And it was 6-1, and I was ready to sort of just get battered, basically. And then he made a bit of an uncharacteristic mistake at 6-1, probably thinking at the time it ain't going to make much difference. Then you're 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, and all of a sudden you're clawing your way back in. And then I didn't deserve to win in the end because at 7-7, Mark's missed a ball, you know, and I always try and pride myself on playing the right shot. And I've blatantly played the wrong shot at 7-7. Mark's gone in off the break at 8-7 up. I'm still thinking about the last one. Played the wrong shot again. And that kind of thing is a real test of my temperament because it really winds me up when when I know I've played the wrong shot. Sometimes I think. So
when did you realise you played? Is it after you sat down and think, no, I should have gone another way?
Well, I mean, it's kind of it was like a bit of a gunslingers match, obviously, with the two of us sort of going like head to head, and Mark's missed a ball at 7 each. And I've got a big shot to take on, and I always feel like, and I've always said it, I feel like to win tournaments and to be there, I think you have to take the big shot on. In this instance, though, I think my ego got the better of me trying to take the big shot on, and there weren't really any need for it. And then it was just a brainwave at 8-7, which is a totally different acceptance to blatantly playing the wrong shot because you've let your ego get the better of you. And then at 10-7, basically the pool gods have just kicked in. It's 10-7. I've had 2 breaks and Mark's had 2 breaks, and from 10-7 it's 11-10. So I've run the last 4, but you kind of you know what it's like where you just. I've said to you before out there, that table is like lightning. Yeah. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but because I like to get involved in the game, you're frightened to death with that rack because the balls break so good. And you do feel a bit like when I was playing Josh Kane last night. You've probably just had it with
you can go down easy.
Yeah, you can just you can literally get battered off the table without really doing a great deal wrong.
That's what we want for a spectacle. We don't want to be long frames.
But can I just for a second? Yeah. I know you've got your organiser cap on and not your player cap. Yeah. But I thought about this when I was playing Josh Kane last night.
I know what I'm going to say to him when I speak to him.
I thought of all the people in all the world, Lee Kendall would hate playing under these conditions where you can't get involved and nip a pocket and whatever.
I totally get your point, and you're 100% right that from a selfish point of view I wouldn't, but from an organised point of view trying to push the game forward, they want you to play attacking, they want the quick frames. If you're ever going to get on television, it's that style of pool and not my style of pool.
I wouldn't disagree with that. It just like from a player's perspective it does feel like you're just walking on eggshells all the time.
On the plus side, you can go down, but you can get it. You feel like you can run 6 or 7 racks yourself, can't you? With how they're splitting and
I guess so.
If two sides of the story, you can go down easy and you can run 6 or 7 yourself.
That was kind of prevalent in your game there. 6-1 behind, it was almost a game of breaks of momentum. Early doors, you couldn't buy a ball off the break, and then later on, he couldn't buy a ball off the break. There was momentum swings. He's 6-1 ahead, and you think, if anyone could come back, Mick Hill can, but you know it's still Marc Farnsworth. He's one of the best players around, and then you come back into the game, and then obviously he goes ahead again, and then you know it's just all about the momentum swings.
I think it's easy, kind of obviously the last event where it was 11-10. you know, and you go back home and you go, well, you've missed your chance at 8 all, and then you assess it, you think, yeah, but you've missed one chance in 21 frames. How much are you going to beat yourself up over it? Yeah. And I think but you do, because you realise out there that these little errors that you make at this level are incredibly glaring. Yeah. Whereas, not to keep harping on about that, because it's not that important, but maybe there's a bit more pressure out there because of the fact of that the game is so open. You feel like you've got to hold your serve.
You're expecting to, right?
Yeah, you've got to hold your serve.
You have to put off the break, don't you? Otherwise, they're wide open.
Pretty much, and then you've got the mental side of it of, if you do pot off the break and they go really messy, you're thinking, well, why has that happened to me? And last racket was rolling, you know, because we've all played, haven't we? But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're probably going to, you know, if the series goes from strength to strength or whatever the situation, what we've got at the moment, obviously you know yourself, Craig, is that with this divide, you don't get to play against, you know, what we're doing here. So you get familiar. I mean, I must have played for Harrison probably 20 times in the last 3 years, because you get familiar with playing the same people within your tour or within your whatever. When you come here, and I mean, up until the last event, I probably haven't played Marc Farnsworth for 7-8 years. Yeah.
Well, just touching on that, Mick, and because I know the fans will be interested. There's obviously this kind of rivalry, and there might not be a actual physical rivalry, but it's obviously built up amongst the community. Is there an undertone when you play Marc? Are you trying that much harder, or because obviously you've got this kind of, you know, there's this money match has been lurking in the background, which yeah. Well,
I tell you what I like about it. What I do like about it is, you know, I've been playing pool for a very long time. So people say to me, oh, I don't see you at the UK tour, or oh, I don't see you, why don't you play the Hearts tour or Leicester tour? No disrespect to any of them tours, but I've played that. You know, it's like when somebody go, oh, why don't you come back and play county? Why do I want to take the spot of a young lad who's 15, 16 coming through when I've done my bit? Let the lad 15, 16 have his go. You know, why do I want to? You know, I remember Greg Norman did a great thing with the golf. If you've won the Open or whatever, you get a chance to go back as like as an invite, because, you know, Jack Nicklaus has done it, Tom Watson's done it, and Greg Norman got asked to go back. And Greg Norman says, I haven't played competitive golf for a couple of decades. Why don't you give it to a young lad on the European Tour who A, needs the money, B, would love to play in the tournament? I've done my bit. Yeah. And I thought that was a great thing on Greg Norman's part. I think that's unbelievably great. Do you know what I mean? When you're talking about like the situation here, what I do like about it, not everybody's going to get on. To be fair, we're all right now as it happens, but you're going to get rivalries in games and sports, aren't you? Whether it was Phil Taylor, Van Gerwen, or whether it's a rivalry.
You need them, don't you? You need them.
You do, and what I will say is, you know, and I look at Phil, for example. I've known Phil a long time. Any of the tournaments that I do tend to play, I share with Phil. We've played in the last 2 finals at Blackpool. We've been in the room together, 5 minutes walking down to the arena together before you play your final. There's a little bit of business been done, if that's how you want to put it. And you're almost like, you know, that last event, one of people said, oh, you didn't really look like you were that fussed, mate. I said, well, I'm playing to win the match. Yeah. But he's not really changed too much. He's won the match. I like the kid anyway, and I'm almost happy for him. I'm texting him on the way home going, oh, well done, mate. Yeah, that'll pay for whatever you want to. A little bit different here, because the code divide. It's not like you don't get on with these people, but you do get that little bit more of a fresh kind of. Yeah. I wanted to win that match for sure, and Marc wanted to win that match, no doubt about it. And you have got a slightly different feeling to what you have when you're playing your roommates and people that you see all the time and you text and everything.
Plus you want to know where you are as well. Here, you're playing all of the top players, and you know where you are, where you play on a certain tour. You might think you're the bee's knees sort of thing, but until you test yourself against the different characters, you're not going to know, because it's a different mindset.
If you're getting deep in these comps, you know you're well up there with the best players around, because they are the best players around on this tour. It's unbelievable, and he's one of the best. So fair play to him.
The man to beat, as you say.
Well. But no, just before we close, I really don't see it that way. I know, like, it's different when you're within yourself, I mean, I walked in yesterday and I'm 1-5 versus Josh Kane, right? And I've gone, that is bonkers. That is bonkers. I get how bookies work and I get it. But he's never a 3-1 shot race to 11 out there. He just isn't. Do you know what I mean? And I think what people have got to sort of realise is that, in all honesty, you've got certain players here. Like they go, okay, well he's not a pro. Well, I'll tell you something. Phil Harrison plays a hell of a lot more pool than what I play. Yeah. That is an absolute racing certainty. Whether he's going to work and I'm not, he plays more. And what you got to like, because you've not been on the tour, Craig, have you? Yeah. And when you're not on the tour and you're not playing every week or every month, like Marky's, like Tommy's, like Phil Harrison, Dunster, Clint, Boyle, these guys, every time I go on Facebook, these guys were at a tournament. And they're used to that 7 each first to 9 scenario. They're used to that 8-8 first to 11. I'll be honest there, I'm knocking that finish and I'm thinking, you know what, these can't be easy enough. I was nervous. You know, I'm flapping them. I've decelerated on the last ball but got away with it because the cloth's so responsive. I know I've done it. But there's a little bit of a slight myth that certain people are playing loads and loads of pool and other people are going to work, and it isn't the case.
Well, I don't think it's just that though, Mick. It's the fact that they respect your game, they know what you've won, and you get them extra. I mean, you'll play a lot of people where they'll fall over against you. Josh Kane won't, because like you say, he's match hard and he's playing good players all the time. If you two play, you wouldn't fall over against each other, but you'd certainly respect each other.
Well, I think... Sorry, go on, Craig.
No, go on.
I think on that note, and I do agree with that, I don't think these young lads now fall over anywhere near
what they
were doing before. Now, I don't know whether that's because they're playing all the time. I don't know whether it's because you get chance to play them players, a bit like what's happened with the snooker, where the hierarchy basically just kept winning all the time, but then the best of sevens come in and all these little tournaments.
You're playing a lot of the bigger players more often, you kind of get not used to it, but you get bit more common with it, don't you?
Well, I think that's what's happened with the snooker. Yeah. Certainly, and I think something what I always say to the youngsters, or you know, if you're trying to, I don't think I really got it until I was 30, which is interesting because I did play Lee Kendall, I did play Brewer, I did play Darren, I did play Farron, I did play Carl Morris, who I couldn't pot a ball against for about 5 years. It was like I did play the player, and I think what learnt me was when I started playing American pool. Because American pool is more professional, you might fly to Japan and there's 64 players in the tournament. 50 of them are pros. The other 14 are because they might happen to live in Tokyo, but there's 50. So you look at your draw sheet and there's no, I've had a little bit of a tickle there. You're playing somebody that's real. Do you know what I mean? And therefore, you go to the table and you go, I got Ralph, did I? Oh, yeah, go on then. But you're not playing Ralph Souquet anymore. You're not playing Ephraim Reyes anymore. You're not playing... Earl Strickland anymore. You're playing, can I make the win ball? Can I land on the lowest ball? And am I good enough to run out anyway? Yeah. That's what you're playing. And when you play those players and then you come back to it, all of a sudden you come in and you go, what's it matter who you play? It doesn't really matter anymore. It's about, can I make a ball and can I do what I need to do?
I think these racks do level it out a little bit as well. Like I think because you get a lot of chances, if they're split you get a lot of chances. But I personally like the rack. I think I like to flow and with them the split.
You get rhythm in the game.
But
well, it's great to hear from both of you. It's what we need in the sport, to find out different things about the players and your thoughts.
Just take a quick look at the draw, just to get your brief thoughts. I mean, Mick, you're going to be playing the winner of Sean Story and Gareth Hibbert. Sean Story is currently 10-9 up. And Craig, you are going to be playing Scott Gillespie because he's just beaten Declan Brennan. Any thoughts on either of them? Or?
Listen, when you're at this stage, you're playing a quality player, whoever you play. Don't matter who you play, so you've got to give everyone the same respect, I think.
Have you ever played Scott?
I've not, no. I've never played him.
Because you play a lot.
Yeah, like Mick was saying, I was on the World All signings on for Blackball, and I've never played him, but I know he's a nice lad, but I'm not going to be treating him that nicely.
No, well, he's won an event, so he's proven the class of him. I mean, I didn't know him before here, really. I saw him in one of the Chinese events, but not really to speak to. But you meet these guys, and they're nice people.
He's always about like that Dunbuck challenge. Did you beat him in the final there?
Yeah, the
he's
first
always
time.
He's always there or thereabouts, and
Yeah,
he's consistent. He's consistent.
Yeah, and I think like on that note as well as I think like sort of I know me personally, I quite like to play people that I'm like familiar with, and I know how they play, and kind of you then got a bit of a strategy. I mean, it doesn't always pan out like that, but you've got a bit of a strategy of I know they like to have a go, so you may let them have a dip every now and again. And sometimes when you play players that you're not familiar with playing, you sometimes a little bit kind of you don't always settle early because you don't quite know. Does he go a game? Does he cover the hole? Does he kind of? So I've never. I tell a lie. I have played Sean Story once, but it was only like a first to 7. I forget where it was. Obviously, Hibbert, I've played him dozens of times. Don't know too much about Sean, obviously. Hibbert, real handful. He's always an handful.
Good big break, isn't he?
So
played a bit of 9-ball, didn't he, Sean? I think at GB9 a few years ago.
Yeah, I think
when himself was on there and I was on there at one point.
Yeah, I didn't know too much about him at all, and then I think did he come in and win one of the amateur tournaments?
He won the Bulldog Challenge, yeah.
Yeah, so
it was very good.
Again, same scenario again. If somebody wins tournaments where there's players that can play, they're comfortable in the environment because they know that they can win, even if it's maybe perceived to be that next shade down. You still get that confidence of knowing that you can win and having that sort of, so yeah, we'll just get on with it, won't we?
Okay, talking of getting on with it, the next session is 1:30. Just waiting for them few matches to finish, and then we'll pick you a good match out. So see you shortly.
And all 4 games will be streamed on the 4 streaming tables, so look forward to it.